Former England captain Matt Dawson shares childhood memories of rugby, squash and streakers, and tells how he's inspiring his own children, because modern fathers deserve celebrating. I was a naturally sporty kid and my dad, Ron, was unbelievably supportive across all the sports I played, cricket and squash for example, but rugby particularly because he was a good club player himself. I remember one Christmas being allowed to run around the house in a new pair of Patrick boots with no studs in because I would not take them off. My dad would give me drills to do in the garden on my own, which wasn't something I necessarily wanted to do when I was younger, but they stood me in good stead for life as a professional athlete. Dad also coached my junior team. There was many a tough Sunday morning where he would quite rightly try to treat me as he would anybody else, which of course I would take exception to. But we all loved it, and he and my mum Lois threw themselves into that scene, taking us all over the place, organising tours and, later, following me round the world watching me play. Special moments. Dawson celebrates after England's Rugby World Cup final victory 2003. Credit, Getty. I can count on the fingers of one hand the number of games he missed in my career. Of course, my parents were there when England won the World Cup in 2003. They had been there for the whole tournament, and so they'd seen the highs and lows of it all, me getting injured and then back into the team for the quarter-final, and had been through the journey as much as myself. After the final whistle, Dawson supplied the pass for Wilkinson's extra-time World Cup-winning drop goal. We were doing a lap of honour and they both managed to get on the pitch, so to have an opportunity to embrace them at that moment was incredibly special. To our first live sport event together. My first major event was at Twickenham for England vs Australia in 1982 when I was 9. My dad had 4 tickets for the Old North stand, so he went with a mate. I tagged along and the other seat had a keg of beer on it. It was the game where Erica Rowe streaked across the pitch. I suppose that just about qualifies as a memorable afternoon. Erica Rowe being escorted off the field after streaking at Twickenham in 1982. 3. My children and their sport. My mum says that I'm turning into my dad. He was very competitive at everything from Scrabble to Daley Thompson's decathlon game on the computer. With a twinkle in his eye, to get a reaction, he would say to me, "God, this winning lark is really boring," whether that be at squash or bowling me out at cricket. He knew how to push my button. My boys are quite young. Alex is 6 and Sammy 5, but while I'll try my best to make them understand that it's how you win that counts, humility is very important. I want him to be competitive because it's good training not just for sport but for life. Like father, like son. Dawson with his father Ron, children Sammy and Alex, and mother Lois. If my dad had a mantra, it would be practice and repetition, and that's something I try to get across to my boys, whether it be reading, golf, catching or working with fast feet in the garden to see how fast they can change direction. But in terms of expectations, I think those tend to be everywhere else but not from me personally. If genetically, they have something about them that makes them excel in an area, then great. My parents had a fabulous 10 or 15 years following me round the world watching rugby, and I'd love to have that, but by the same token, if they're world-class accountants or trained drivers, then good luck and I'll support them all the way. Let's see what they've got. Give the gift of care, brought to you by Dove Men Care and Telegraph Spark, celebrating all dads who spend quality time with their children. Follow at Dove